Hello and welcome to a Vinyasa Flow class. My name is Dee. Take a seat. Have a couple of blocks nearby. I like to sit on a block to elevate my hips and let your legs form into whatever comfortable position works for your body. Knees could be straight, bent, legs wide, narrow, all sorts of choices. Arms down by your sides, supporting you, or on your lap. Tightened in the core, sitting up nice and tall, but letting your shoulders release back and down on the spine, or next to the spine, rather. And let's close down the eyes, letting the body begin to relax. Even though there's effort in this pose, let's slow down the breath. And let's begin the pranayama of belly breathing. In belly breathing, we want to lift the navel away from the spine and then draw it back in towards the spine. So starting as you're ready, sending that softness to the belly so that you can expand. And then exhale, pulling it in and maybe a little bit up. Notice how more full the breaths could become here with this pranayama practice. And then as you're ready, set the breath aside and just let your body breathe its natural rhythm. Let's release our arms down by our sides if they're not there already. And let's do 7 movements of the spine. And for the first one, we'll extend the spine towards the sky. Crown of the head lifting, reaching up, but shoulders still relaxed and down, maybe elbows a little bit back behind the body. Noticing how much more broad you can become in the chest there. The first movement of the spine. Let's inhale, lifting our arms up overhead. Let's interlace our fingers and we'll exhale over to one side for our second movement, a lateral stretch. Inhale to come back up. Exhale to release to the opposite side. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, let's release the arms. For the fourth and fifth movement, let's inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, twist to one side. The forward arm and the back arm come down, and we'll prop ourselves up on our fingertips, looking to the side of the room. Breathing here for a moment. And then moving to the opposite side in our twist for our fifth movement, inhaling the arms up, squaring out the chest, and then exhaling, twisting to the opposite side, releasing the arms, one in front, one in back. Inhale, come back up to center, square the chest forward. Exhale, releases the arms down by your side. From here, let's come into cat and cow. Let's first just move the pelvis. See if you can round the pelvis. You're sort of drawing the lower ribs towards the hip and pelvis. And then we'll reach out and up, arching the back, sending the shoulders. Let's lift the arms even. And we'll cat, cow. Hands come together. Spine is curled. Hands come apart. Hands reach back as the back arches. Head lifts. For the sixth and seventh movements of the spine, undulating here, maybe staying in our cat for a breath, moving into cow for a breath, and then relaxing the arms back down by your side. Let's come up onto our table, into a table, all fours, cushioning the knees, hands open, palms flat, wrists a little wider than the shoulders. And let's start to move our spine to cat-cow again. So we'll move our pelvis and we'll round our spine and then arch our spine. Head moves too, so the neck's involved. The whole spine is involved from the tailbone to the tip of your head. Your brainstem anyway. Let's bring our spine to neutral. And from here, we'll step the left foot back behind us, extending that leg. Reach through the foot, stretch the leg without moving the hip so that your left and right hips are square to each other, front to back, left to right. Inhale, lift the back leg if you'd like. Keep it low to the floor. Keep it touching the floor. All of these are fair options. Tighten the core. Exhale, release the knee. And let's switch to the other side. The right foot steps back. First, we concentrate on lengthening the leg here. We're not leaving the floor. We can stay here even. If you want a challenge, you can lift the leg up, holding on to the places that are tightening. Feeling strength in this pose, exhaling to release the knee to the floor. Let's let the hips move or sway from left to right. We'll come back to the center. Let's extend the left foot long again, reaching back with the toes. Let's exhale, take our next exhale, and let's move the chin towards the knee of that extended leg, or really forehead to the knee, nose to knee. And then release and relax that foot, extending it back out. Let's do that one more time on the left side. Spine becomes neutral as the toes touch the floor. Draw that left knee in and we'll switch to the opposite side. Extend the right leg. Inhale. Excuse me. Inhale, let's not move. Exhale, we'll round the spine, nose to knee. And then we'll release on the inhale, flatten the back, extend the foot, release the toes again. Let's do that one more time on the right side. And then we'll lean into that knee, sway the hips, maybe rock this time forwards and back, or release the pressure on your wrists. Take a moment. Back in our table, let's extend the left leg long back behind us. Inhale to lift the ankle and heel to hip height. Press through that heel. Reach opposite hand forward. Right fingers reach towards the top of the mat. If you'd like to inhale that arm and come into sunbird, please do. Excellent. Exhale, release that hand, release the knee, sway the hips from side to side. Maybe come into a low kneel, give your wrists some love. Coming back into our table, we'll extend the right foot straight back behind us. Feel the core beginning to engage. Inhale to lift the back heel, reaching through the bottom of your foot towards that back wall. Maybe reaching the left hand and fingers forward, keeping them low to the floor, or inhaling them. Oh, sorry, inhaling and lifting that arm. Left arm lifts. Maybe it's out a bit to the side because of your shoulder range of motion. Go where you can in your flows. Release as you need to. We'll all sink, releasing that hand and knee into child's pose. Taking a breath here. Let the next inhale lift you up to your table. We'll begin another flow. This one is downward facing dog to upward facing dog to child's pose. If child's pose doesn't work for you, you could sink into puppy dog instead. So as you're ready, we'll curl the toes under, press on the hands and the tops of your feet, and lift your knees and hips up into downward facing dog. You can stretch the dog here, walk the dog. From here, let's come into upward facing dog. The hips begin to release. You're on the toes of your feet until the hips, thighs, and knees release. Really, it's your knees that are on the floor here. Flatten your feet now, and here's your upward dog where you're pressing into the floor actively. From here, you shift the hips up and back and sink into child's pose. Take a breath or two here. Notice the heart beating. Excuse me, with all the work in that flow, let's inhale, coming back up to table. Next inhale lifts us up into downward facing dog. Stay here in this down dog. When you're ready, shift into upward facing dog. Flatten the feet. And when you're ready, sink back into child's pose or puppy dog. Notice the flow of energy through the body, the arms, the legs, the trunk. We'll inhale, coming up to our table. One last time, we'll come up into upward facing dog. Sorry, downward facing dog, then upward facing dog, then child's pose or puppy dog. Lift your hips towards the stars. Exhale, coming into your upward dog. Flat feet, released hips towards the floor. Sink back into puppy dog or child's pose. Take another breath. And then inhale, lifting back up to your table. From here, let's tuck under our toes, tuck the toes under the feet. We're going to come up through downward dog into forward fold. So you can walk your feet towards your hands. You can walk your hands towards your feet. Forward fold. Let's inhale, come halfway up. Hands to shins. Exhale, releases the upper body once again. Bend the knees. Relax in this forward fold. We'll inhale to standing by pressing down through both feet, lifting up through the arms as we breathe in. Hands come together. We exhale, hands to the heart. Let's walk to the top of the mat. blocks to the right and left. And let's move through a couple of sun salutations. We'll increase the strength and flexibility needed, the difficulty, each time we move through a sun salutation, which is going to be twice. So take advantage of what you want to and leave what you don't want to do alone, and set it aside, let it go. So we'll move through a little faster the second time. We'll find our mountain pose here first. See if you can find stillness for a moment, arms where they're comfortable. Gaze forward, looking at a spot, using a drishti as we move here through this flow. Take one more breath, pressing down through both feet, all four corners. Feet are engaged, legs are engaged here too. Inhale, the arms come out and up in the sun breath. Good. Exhale, nose dive, forward fold. Hang the upper body. Inhale, come halfway up. Hands on legs. Extend the spine. Exhale, release the hands. Crouch back down. Step the left foot back. And come either into a low kneel or a high kneel. Inhaling to lift the upper body away from the floor. The back heel is lifted, no matter how you're positioned. Inhaling the arms out and up or forward and up. Arms maybe by the ears, maybe they're more of a V. Exhale, release the hands. We'll float our upper body down, plant the palms, step that right foot back, and come into half plank or plank. Take a breath or two or three here. And then we push on our toes on an inhale. Exhale, slowly lowering the body by bending the elbows, keeping the elbows in, not letting them drift out. Letting ourselves float down to the floor as that exhale ends. Inhale, come up into half or full cobra. Exhale, release. Feet go from being flat to curled under. We'll come up through either a plank or a table into downward facing dog. Press into the left foot. And if you'd like, lift your right foot. If you're fine where you are, press evenly into both feet. If you'd like, let that inhale lead you to a three-legged dog. Keep your hips square. Exhale, release. The right foot comes down. And then we'll step the right foot forward. Bring the left foot up next to it. We'll inhale both arms out to the side, up overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart. Take a breath here. All right, good. Next breath in, inhale the arms out and up. Exhale, nose dive, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, hands on legs. Exhale, release, plant the hands, step the left foot back. Maybe you're coming into a low kneel, letting that knee float down. Maybe you're staying, in a low lunge, staying in a high lunge, coming up into a high lunge rather. Inhaling the arms up and out. Pressing into the floor evenly, hips facing forward. Strong in the legs. Excellent. Let's exhale, letting our hands float back down. Maybe we're using blocks to help us, maybe not. We'll step the left foot back, coming into a plank. Take a breath here, or two, or three. Low plank or high plank, or half plank rather, or plank. Inhale, lifting the body as you press on the toes. Exhale, lowering the body. Flattening the feet. Letting all the air press out of the lungs as they land, as the chest lands on the floor. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, come through plank or table to downward facing dog. Stretch in down dog. And if you'd like, press into that right foot. Inhale the left foot up and back as if the heels being drawn towards the sky. Exhale, bend the knees, step that left foot through. Inhale, coming up away from your leg. We'll let the arms come forward and up. Strong in the legs. Another low or high lunge. Exhale, step that back foot forward, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, arms go out in front or to the side and up. Exhale, hands come to the chest. Thumbs at the heart, elbows to the sides. Stand in your mountain pose here. And let's begin to make circles with our hips. Standing in mountain, slowly begin to circle the hips to the edge of your balance. Moving very slowly but carefully, creating tone in the body, the feet responding to where the rest of the body above it is. Let's come back to center and then start our circles on the opposite side, going the opposite direction. Letting the feet give appropriate sensory information to the brain. Coming back to center. Let's move through our second sun salutation. To inhale the arms out and up over the head. Exhale, nose dive, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, release and surrender again. Plant the hands, step the left foot back. Low lunge or high lunge. Inhale to lift away from the legs. Exhale, and then inhale the arms up. Exhale, releases the upper body. The hands float down and plant. That right foot steps back. We'll come into plank or half plank. Chaturanga, inhale, lift, exhale, lower, release. Inhale, cobra, exhale, release, curl under the toes, downward facing dog. Now from here, let's press into the left foot and we'll lift the right foot and heel up and back on an inhale. Let's come into wild thing by bending that lifted right knee and opening, stacking the hip. We'll look under our right arm. And when we're ready to square everything back and lift, lower, the right foot to the floor, we'll do that. Let's step that right foot forward now. Inhale, lifting up away from the floor. Arms come up into a V or right by the ears in this high or low lunge. Exhale, Release and step forward into a forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. On the next exhale, release into the forward fold again. And on your next inhale, arms come out and up as you lift. Exhale, hands release to your heart. Take a breath here. Take a moment. Hands at the heart, perhaps knuckles on sternum, applying a little bit of pressure there. 2 breaths. And let's salute the sun on the opposite side, shall we? We'll inhale, the arms come out and up. Exhale, bend elbows and knees, nose dive, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Good. Exhale, release, plant the hands. We'll step the right foot back this time. Inhale, lift the body up away from the floor, knee planted also or not. High lunge. Inhale, the arms up. Finding your balance, pressing into the floor. Nice, strong in your high lunge here, your low lunge here. Exhale, we'll release, hands come down. Planting the palms, we'll come into half plank or plank. Lowering the hips. Taking 1 to 3 breaths here. Strong in the arms and core. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale to release. Inhale. Come up into downward facing dog. This time we press on the right foot and the left leg. On the next inhale, draws up and back. Turning it into wild thing, we'll bend the knee, bringing the heel to the hip. And then we'll lift that knee to stack our hip. Shoulders are not square, but not stacked either. Somewhere in between. You're looking under that left arm. Yeah. Inhale, letting yourself come back squared. Exhale, we'll release that left foot. We'll step that left foot forward, coming back into a high or low lunge. Finding your balance here. Inhaling the arms up. Reaching for the stars. Planting your feet. Strong legs. Strong arms. Strong core. Exhale, fold forward. Step that right foot forward and a forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, release into your forward fold, bending the knees. Inhale, lift up to standing. Arms come out and up. Exhale, hands come down to the heart. Take a few breaths here. Nice. All right. One more sun salutation on each side. Standing at the top of the mat, coming to a mountain pose. Taking a breath or two, just collecting our thoughts and focusing our mind on our breathing and on our movement as we move through a sun salutation. This time we'll do a side plank instead of the fancy stuff during the downward facing dog. So release your hands by your side. On the next inhale, lift them up towards the sky. Exhale, nose dive, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Good. Exhale, release and fold again. Plant the hands, step your right foot back. We'll switch it up this time. Inhale, keep these lunges either high or low, back heel lifted. Inhaling the chest away from the thigh, and then inhaling the arms up overhead. Nice. Exhale, the chest comes towards the floor, the hands plant. We'll step back into plank. Here's where you can make this a right side down, left side up side plank. You can keep it a regular plank or a half plank as well. Take a few breaths doing your own thing. Release if you haven't yet out of your side plank. And then chaturanga, inhale, exhale, keep the elbows in. Slow the descent of the body. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Curl the toes under. Table or plank your way to downward facing dog. Stretch here. This time we step the right foot forward. We'll lift all the way away from that forward leg, whether our knee is low or high. Inhaling the arms up. Find your strength in your lunge here. Exhale, releases the upper body. Enough to step that left foot forward to come into a forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, release. Forward fold again. Inhale, press down through the feet. Lift up through the torso, straight spine, arms overhead. Exhale, hands come to the heart. And we breathe. And we notice how our body is reacting to this balanced movement. We'll go to the opposite side here, inhaling the arms out and up. Exhale, nose dive, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, release, plant the hands. This time we step the left foot back. Inhale, lift up, away from the leg, high or low lunge. Inhale, the arms up. Strong legs, strong arms and core. Exhale, we release all the way to the floor. We come in to that plank. Maybe we don't stay long. We keep the left arm down. Reach the right arm up in our half plank. In our side plank I meant. Maybe we are in half plank. Ahead of myself again. Chaturanga when you're ready. Releasing to the floor. Inhaling up to cobra. Exhaling back down. Curling the toes under. Coming up into a downward facing dog. Stretching here. And stepping the left foot forward. Coming into that high lunge or low lunge. Lifting chest away from leg. Inhaling, the arms come out and up. Holding on here. Staying strong in the shape as much as possible. Exhale, release. We bend forward, step that right foot up into a forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, release and surrender. Inhale, press down through both feet. Lift up through both arms. Exhale, hands to the heart. And take a breath or two here. All right, that's quite the rotation. Hope you feel pretty good. See if you can come into a student choice here for a pose that releases your spine as much as possible. A number of things might help. Follow your intuition there. All right, let's come back to mountain. I'm going to face your to your side. We're going to sink into chair by exhaling, starting to bend the knees, sending the hips back. Chest and shoulders come forward. Shoulders are over knees. And we're going to release as much as we can. Maybe our hands are on our thighs. Maybe they're by our sides. Maybe we can lift our arms in our chair. Do what feels right. And when you're ready, sink into a forward fold. You can support yourself with blocks. It does make a difference in how fast the body releases after the tension of chair. And we'll go ahead and lift back into chair from our forward fold this time. Then we'll go from chair to standing. We'll do the whole rotation there a second time. So we'll inhale coming up into chair. Maybe your arms are still at your side. That's okay. Inhale, come up to standing. Exhale, hands to the heart. Back in our mountain pose. Let's take that one more time. No más tiempo. Inhaling. And then exhaling, releasing into chair. Sinking the hips down and back. Waiting for the next exhale to sink into a forward fold. Inhaling, coming back to that chair. Exhale, holding it. Inhale, we'll come to standing, pressing down through both feet, lifting up, arms reach for the sky. Exhale, hands come to the heart. Mountain pose. Taking a breath, feeling strong in the body, strong in the mind. All right, from here, let's come to a position where we can squat down to the mat. So to do that, the legs can be a little ways apart. We can point the toes a little wider than the heels here. And then we'll sink the hips down towards the floor. I shouldn't have moved my blocks out of the way. One thing that's kind of nice is to leave a block right here on the medium height. And as we sink down, we can use our hands too. We could even put a block under our hands in front. We can sink our hips down onto a block. So let's try that today. If you can do a squat without this block, feel free. Let's begin to move the elbows to the side. You can keep your back flat, hands can rest on the floor. And we'll take a breath or two in this squat position. Then let's bring the knees together, sink the hips down towards the floor. We'll turn to face the short edge of the mat. And let's go ahead and relax our back behind us. Let's bring our knees to our chest. And let's wiggle our toes, point and flex the feet. Make circles. And then let's release the feet to the floor. Let them float down, knees bent to the sky. We're going to take one of our blocks and we're going to come into a supported bridge. We want the length, the longest side, to be across our sacrum. So we're going to put the block, imagine the block was in position right under my hips here instead of on top. So to do that, we'll kind of come into bridge, slip the block underneath, make sure all of the sacrum is centered on that block. And then we'll let the knees fall in toward one another as we walk the feet out wide, or we can straighten our legs if that's comfortable. And take a breath or two here in this supported bridge. Now, let an inhale lift the knees away from each other. Walk your feet so that the feet are again hip distance apart. Peel your hip up off the block and set it to the side. We're going to come into bridge pose here with nothing behind our head. Knees bent to the sky, arms draped alongside the body, elbows in towards the waist, palms face down by the hips. Let's inhale, peeling our hips up away from the floor. And let's take a few breaths holding the hips up here. We're really gearing to strengthen muscles in the upper legs and back behind you in the glutes. So we're breathing, we maybe are using our arms actively, maybe we're bent at the elbows to accentuate just the upper arm pressing into the floor. However you're comfortable, we're strengthening here, especially after all that movement in our sun salutations. Exhale to lower the hips. Let's take a breath in between, maybe two. No rush today. When you're ready, lift your hips up for a second time on an inhale, keeping your nose pointed towards the sky. So inhale, the hips lift. Hips and spine lift in one unit. Pressing through the feet here. Taking breaths. And then go ahead and exhale to release the hips. Releasing the spine in one unit with the hips and just resting here on the floor. Taking another couple of breaths in between here. And then as you're ready, come up for a third time. Challenge yourself, inhaling, coming up maybe a little higher, maybe bring your hands right underneath your glutes and lift your hips towards the sky. Try to keep your knees together, squaring the body here. Not too intense on the neck, please. And when you're ready, go ahead and exhale. Lower the hips and the spine in one fell swoop, softly landing. Let's bring the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around the legs. Let's point, flex the feet, wiggle the toes. Good. And then inhale, lift nose to knee. Exhale, lower head back down. Let your feet release to the floor. All right, from here, let's move into a yoga walk. Let's draw both knees back into the chest. Lift the feet towards the sky and start to pretend like you're walking. Press from your heel to your toe as you straighten one leg, bend it, and then heel to toe as you straighten the opposite leg and alternate back and forth. Keep this movement as slow as you can. Look at all that control you can have over your legs. One more, and then we'll bring our feet together and let's wiggle the toes, tap the toes, point and flex, roll the ankles. We're keeping the legs up here, kind of strengthening still as we go and even as we cool down. And let the next exhale release the feet to the floor, knees bent to the sky. Let's come into wind relieving pose on the right by drawing just the right knee into the chest. Hugging the knee in, let the next exhale extend the foot to the ceiling. Take one full breath in between, and on the next inhale, we're going to lift up into spider, reaching our fingertips towards our ankle, reaching here, and then exhaling. Hands come down. We'll even bend the knee. Let the right foot float to the floor, and we'll switch to the opposite side, wind relieving pose on the left. Hugging that knee in as you breathe. Inhale, lifting sole of the left foot towards the sky. You can support the leg, interlace your hands behind the thigh. Let the next inhale, lift your upper body, reach your hands towards your ankle, towards your shin, towards your heel. And then exhale, releasing from spider on the left. Let the left foot float down, knee bends. Let's stretch out long on the mat, full body stretch. And we'll move from here to banana asana on one side and walking to the opposite side after we go through the center, banana asana. Walking hands and feet back to center. Exhale your arms back down by your side. Bend up through your right knee. Place the right foot on top of the left thigh. Reach your left hand to the outside of the right knee and roll off that right hip. Stretch the right hand and arm back behind you. Twist here. Take a breath or two. And then release out of that twist, both hips back, rooted to the floor. Straighten that right leg. Bend up through the left knee, left foot on thigh, right hand on the outside of the left knee. Left hip lifts, left shoulder stays planted, left arm out to the side, gaze looking left. Good. Take one more breath here. Exhale, release the head back to center. You're looking at the stars. The left hip releases back onto the floor. You'll straighten the left knee. Or keep the knees bent, bring that right knee in. Come into student choice here. So anything that you might want to do, whether you walk the dog again, sorry, not walk the dog, but yoga walk. Whether you make circles with your knees or do windshield wipers or come into another twist or bridge, maybe stretch your piriformis, coming into figure four, whatever it is you'd like. Spend a couple minutes there, 1 minute on each side, if you're doing something that you can do on two sides. Switching to the opposite side. Maybe doing a new shape, something else entirely. Let's find our way into a comfortable Shavasana position from here. Allowing our body to relax doesn't mean that we can't plan something more energetic after a Vinyasa Flow class, but we do want to take the time to relax our bodies, to work on our meditation, focusing on our breathing, and all the good things that come from rest. So once you've found a comfortable position, go ahead and see if you can relax and release your whole body. Become aware of your breathing. Close down the eyes if you can. And take a few deeper breaths here. Every time your mind wanders, bring it back to your breath without judgment, without criticism, without worrying that you let your mind wander again. That's part of the practice, is the opportunity to bring yourself back from that. Focusing on the breath once more, being mindful here, using mindfulness to stay in the present moment as much as possible, but not berating ourselves when we can't. Maybe we have a little bit more of a monkey mind going. So we do what we can. Take some time here now to focus on your breath. Relax your whole body. Let the earth cradle you. Take a moment to notice the pattern your breath is automatically doing. As you're ready, begin by moving a very small part of your body, maybe your fingers and your toes. Then still your hands and your feet and begin rocking your head from left to right. Two small movements. back and forth. Really one movement, depending how you look at it. Move your chin back to center, and let's roll over onto one side. Let's take a breath here, maybe set an intention for the rest of our day or evening. And then as you're ready, pressing up away from the floor, slowly bringing yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Pressing into the sits bones. Sits bones pressing into the floor, releasing the hands by the side. Legs in whatever comfortable position you'd like. We'll inhale, our arms come out and up. Exhale, let's release the arms back down by our sides. 2 more. At our own pace, getting life back into the body again. Maybe a little more energy to cook some dinner. Or whatever time of day you may be watching this recording, doing the next thing. Next time the arms come up overhead, bring the hands together and then exhale, hands to your heart. Close down the eyes, release the chin to the chest as we bow to the divine found in each one of us. Let the next inhale lift the chin up away from the chest. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Flutter open your eyes, release your hands. Thank you all so much for joining me for today's yoga practice. Have a great week, and I hope to see you next week. Stretches saying goodbye to. Take care.